know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game, and it's free. Click the link down there. You got it.
DreAllDay.com.
But we're going to get into that after let me talk about this topic. When we talk about Cam Newton, everybody saw the Super Bowl yesterday. If you didn't see it, then I know you heard about it. What's up, Allison? Allison Blue, how you doing? I appreciate that, Jeff. Once everybody saw the Super Bowl. Some of you was cheering for the Broncos. Some of you were cheering for the Panthers. Oh, what's up, Nicole 4591? How you doing? Some of y'all wanted Cam to win. We got people from North Carolina. Some of y'all wanted Peyton to win. Some of y'all didn't care who won. You just wanted to see a certain person lose because you like them or you don't like them or whatever. But we all know Cam Newton lost, and Cam Newton, for some reason, everybody has been, not everybody, let me not say everybody, a lot of people have gotten on him. Good afternoon, Raider Nation Raw. Oh, you was at school on the Super Bowl and it was Monday. That's crazy. And so there we go right there. Nicole says cockiness doesn't get you very far. I'm glad that you made that statement. I'm glad you said that because that's exactly what we're going to talk about. What's going on? Who's that? Mr. Nice 66. And people came out as soon as it looked like the Panthers was going to lose. I was telling my lady, I was like, man, the only reason I want Cam Newton to win this game, this is what I said to my girl. I said, the only reason I want Cam Newton to win this game because I don't want to hear all these people jumping on a soapbox about cockiness and gamesmanship and being arrogant and being humble, because I know if he loses, everybody's going to jump up and all of a sudden everybody's going to have something to say. And what happened as soon as he lost? Everybody has something to say. You got to be humble. You're not going to last long if you're cocky. You can't be arrogant in this game. You got to pay homage to the game. You can't be arrogant. You can't be cocky. You can't be doing all that dancing around. One thing that I do want to say, I saw this tweet by this guy Darren Rovell on ESPN, and he shared this. Somebody else had made a cartoon, and it was a tweet that y'all know Aaron Rodgers, right? Y'all know Aaron Rodgers, quarterback from the Green Bay Packers. The thing that people really started to notice Cam Newton for is because when he would, before the game or when he would do his Super Bowl, he would score his touchdown. He'd do the Superman thing. That's what he used to do. Then he did the Superman thing. Then he started doing the dab, right? So everybody, I don't know, for whatever reason, a lot of traditionalists didn't like the fact that he was doing the dab or doing the dance when he scored a touchdown. But everybody does the dance when they score a touchdown. When Aaron Rodgers throws a touchdown pass, what does he do? What does Aaron Rodgers do when he throws a touchdown pass? Somebody tell me, so I know I'm not making this up. So I know that this guy that I saw this cartoon by wasn't just making something up out of nowhere. Aaron Rodgers does the dance, right? He does what does he do? He does the belt. Yeah, the discount double check, right? He does the belt, and he does that, and people say, wow, what a fierce competitor Aaron Rodgers is. He just wants to win. He's the guy that's trying to win championships, right? Because he's won a ring, maybe that makes it okay. Cam Newton does his dance. It's like, oh, he's being arrogant. He's disrespecting the game. Some middle-aged white woman wrote an open letter to Cam Newton, like, stop, you're being too cocky or arrogant. I don't want my kids watching the game because you're dancing when you score a touchdown. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't want your kids watching football because Cam Newton danced? Maybe you don't want your kids playing football because they might get a concussion and kill themselves later on after their football career is over. That's much worse than dancing. Did y'all see that letter that woman wrote after Cam Newton? It was the game. I think they was playing Tennessee, and Cam danced after he scored a touchdown, and one of the players from Tennessee got mad, and then a woman wrote a public open letter to him. It was on Deadspin.com. Like, I don't let my daughters watch the game anymore because of your dancing. Well, what about the cheerleaders being objectified and getting paid, $25 for every game that they work, plus all the promotional appearances they got to make to keep their jobs? What about that? Isn't that worse for your daughters than Cam Newton dancing? And this is the thing that a lot of people, the reason that I wanted to come up with this topic is because when we talk about winning and losing, the reason I gave all that background on Cam Newton is this. This is the number one thing. Yeah, certain people scared of young black hip hop culture. Oh, you're absolutely right about that. Unconsciously scared of it. Nobody's going to come out and actually say that, but definitely unconsciously scared of it. But the thing is this. When it comes to winning and losing, ladies and gentlemen, this is what all of you should understand. If you're going to play the game, and when I say the game, I don't necessarily mean football or being a professional athlete or being on social media or trying to be famous in any way, shape, or form. But if you're going to play the game in life, what you need to understand is this. 95% of people are going to fall into one of two categories depending on whether you win or lose. 95% of people, and if you want a verification of this, just look at your Twitter feed, look at your Instagram feed after the game last night. 95% of people fall into these categories. When you win, people are going to be on your dick, and when you lose, people are going to be making memes and joking about you losing. As soon as you lose, Same people that was on your nuts because you won are going to be making jokes about you and laughing at you because you lost. 95% of people in life. So what? And the reason I'm saying that is not to say that 95% of people are wrong or bad people or that you shouldn't get involved in anything. The fact is, if you're going to play any game in life, you need to understand and accept this before you start playing. Understand this is part of the game that you're playing. Any game that you get in. I remember when I was working at Valley Total Fitness, this gym, like over 10 years ago, this guy I worked with, his name was Lennox. He was a salesperson like me. He was like, look, he was mad because the manager had did something and he lost a sale. He was exactly same thing with Ronda Rousey. He lost a sale. He was like, look, boss, only thing I need to know is what are the rules. As long as I know the rules, he's like, any game I play, he's like, Dre, any game I play, as long as you tell me the rules up front, I'm good. Just let me know what the rules are. So I'm letting all y'all know. We losing connection? Are we good on connection now? Somebody said that the Fed's trying to shut me down. Yeah, right. Are we good on connection? Can everybody hear me and see me before we continue? All right, we good? No connection good or yes connection good? We good? All right, cool. So what y'all need to understand, this is the rules of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Any game you get in life, whether you are a musician, you're a musician, who's a musician we can think of? When you're hot, everybody's like, yo, you the man. Everybody's talking about you. Everybody's quoting your lyrics. As soon as if you fall off or you put out something that's not that great, or somebody sees you in Denny's, they're like, oh, such and such broke. You know, he in Denny's. All of a sudden, the exact same people, 95% of people are going to be either one. When you win, they all over you. You the man. When you lose, they can't wait to come out with a joke for you. And when the Super Bowl was winding down last night, I was like, man, I know what's going to happen. I don't want him to lose just because I don't want to hear it. And then what happened? And then what happens next? When you win in life, those same 95% of people are going to come around and say, you know what? I knew you was going to win. I knew you were going to be great. When you win in life, when you succeed in anything in life, people come around and be like, yeah, the crying Jordan meme. People going to come around like, yo, I knew you was going to do it. You know, out of all those people back in the day, I knew you would be the one that was going to be the most successful. That's exactly what happens. All right, you have a good, wait, are we good on connection? I'm getting some in between comments here. Are we good on the connection right now before I continue, ladies and gentlemen? This is Dre All Day you listening to, by the way. All right, we good. Thank you. All right. When you win in life, everybody's going to come around and tell you how great you are. They're going to tell you how they knew you were going to be successful. They're going to tell you how they want to be connected to you. They're going to want to buy something that you're selling. They're going to want to somehow, some way get involved in everything that you're doing when you win in life. That's exactly what happens at all times. Any of you ever been in a situation where you were kind of down and maybe not that guy or that girl at the moment, but then you got to a position where you were for some moment, or maybe you even are still now? You know exactly this is what happens, right? All those same people who you ain't even know they knew your name, right? You ever had that happen, that you did something successful and the same person that you see every day, they never even said nothing to you, never even acknowledged your presence. You didn't even know that they knew who you were. All of a sudden they know your first name, your last name, where you from. They know what breed of dog you got. They know everything about you. You're like, yo, you ain't never say shit to me every day for the last 3 years. Now all of a sudden you know me. Now all of a sudden you want to shake my hand. Now you want to hang. Now you want what? You want my number? You want to text me? Like, what do you want? You want to follow me on Instagram now? Who are you? Who are you? I've been seeing you every day. You've never acknowledged my presence, but now that I'm winning, now that I'm doing something, all of a sudden you want to be my friend. All of you know what I'm talking about, right? That's what happens in life when you win. When you win, all of these people are going to come around. All of these people are going to come around and want to be cool. All of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this is what happens on the other side. See, now on the winning side, that feels good, right? It feels good when you do your thing, and figure of speech that I'm using here, but everybody knows what I mean. When you win, everybody's just on your dick, right? When you win, everybody's on your dick. Everybody wants to shake your hand. Everybody wants to take a picture. Everybody wants to follow you on Snapchat because you're winning. It feels good, right? It does feel good. You're bathing, as Napoleon Hill said, bathing in your own vanity because everybody's telling you how great you are. It feels great, but what you need to know, this is what you need to know, is you need to know the other side to that. Because when you're in, the only way you can win is to be in the game, ladies and gentlemen. You can't win if you're not in the game. So if you win the game and you're winning, you understand you're not going to be able to control everything at all times. There are going to be times where things happen that you can't control, and there's going to be times when you lose. All right, nobody just wins. This ain't the DJ Khaled song. There are times you are going to lose, ladies and gentlemen. You will lose sometimes in life, and this is what happens when you lose. All right, you win the game. It's all about me. That's what's up. This is what happens when you lose, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's another part let me point out. When you're winning, there are people out there who are not happy that you're winning. They're not happy that you're winning. There's something that you're doing in the process of winning that they don't like. There's something about you personally that they don't agree with. There's something that you represent that has nothing to do with you personally that goes back to some demon that those people have in their minds that for some reason when they see you, they think negatively. Maybe you wear a blue shirt and their ex-boyfriend cheated on them and he used to wear a blue shirt, so now for whatever reason they hate you. Or maybe they don't like black people and now they see you're a black person, you're doing well, for whatever reason they don't like you. Or you're a white person, or you're a female, or you're tall, you're short, you're Asian, or you go to school or you don't go to school, or you stand on the corner or you don't stand on the corner, or you wear socks with sandals or you wear t-shirts. Whatever it is, there's somebody who doesn't like the fact that you're winning. So check this out. When you're winning, the people who don't like the fact that you're winning, they're not going to say nothing. They can't say nothing because if they stepped up and start saying some negative things about you, you know what? Everybody's going to shout them down like, yo, shut up, you hater. Why you hating on this person? They're winning. You just mad because they doing their thing. You just mad because he's dancing because he scored a touchdown. You just mad because your team lost. And that's what people were saying, right? When Cam Newton was doing his dancing and he was dabbing on his touchdowns and people was saying negative stuff, what was everybody else doing? What were the Cam Newton fans doing? Shouting them down like, look at this hater. You just mad because Cam Newton's football team beat your football team. You mad because he's a black guy. He's winning football games. You mad because he's a black quarterback and he beat the white quarterback. You just mad because he listens to rap music. You don't have no idea what the dab means, but he keeps doing it and he keeps beating the teams that you like. That's the only reason you mad. And people was laughing at him, right? People who are Cam Newton fans was laughing at the people who was hating during that time period. What's up, Michael Joy 424 said, I love you when you on, but cherish the day you lose. Exactly. Allen Iverson said it. So this is what y'all got to understand. When you lose, everybody who didn't like the fact that you were winning are waiting. They're loading up their guns. You like that chess life analogy video? I appreciate that, Steven. That's one of my favorite videos making. So here's the thing. When you lose, he said, I'm not hating on him. He's young. I'm sure he will win a Super Bowl, but if you're going to be cocky. Okay, we're gonna address that. Please hold that comment that you just said. We're going to come to that as soon as I get through with this. When you're winning, ladies and gentlemen, the people who are mad that you're winning won't say nothing. They're just going to stay quiet. They got to stay quiet because you're winning. And they also got to stay quiet because if they say something while you're winning, all your supporters, remember that 95%, they're going to jump down those people's throat and jump on their asses and turn them to pieces, make them delete their Twitters. So they're not going to say anything when you're winning. But you know what they're doing? They're sharpening their axes. They're sharpening their axes. They're shining up their guns. They're loading up their clips. They are just waiting for the moment when you are not on top anymore because they know what they're going to do. They waiting for the moment you ain't on top anymore. And as soon as something happens, as soon as you slip, as soon as you lose in the Super Bowl, as soon as you don't dive on the ground and recover the fumble, as soon as you cut short a press conference because the reporters are asking you dumbass questions, you know what everybody does? What happened on Twitter last night? Everybody comes out the woodwork. Oh, well, he's cocky. That's why he didn't win the Super Bowl. What did Bill Romanowski say? You won't last long in this league with that type of attitude. What is he talking about? He just won the fucking MVP of the league. You won't last long? That makes no sense. You won't last long in this league with that attitude. Well, I'm not hating on you, Cam, but you're cocky. So now that's what you get for losing the Super Bowl. Listen, the guy won 17 out of 19 games this year. I wouldn't call that's what you get. He lost one game. All right, 30 other teams, however many teams in the league, they all lost this year except one, which was the Denver Broncos. So to say that, that's what you get, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. The guy won the Super Bowl. I mean, he made it to the Super Bowl. He won MVP. He got one of the biggest contracts in the league. I don't think he got any people kind of saying, he got his just desserts because he's cocky and arrogant. Well, what about all the successes he had all year? He had this one failure, which is losing the Super Bowl. Now, all of a sudden, is because he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's not humble, he's not a good sportsman because he's always dabbing, because he dances when he scores touchdowns. He didn't get a chance to dab last night in the Super Bowl. But what about all the things he achieved because of these exact same reasons that people are being negative about him? What about that? What about that? I don't understand why people are just trying to point out this one thing. Well, I do understand it. Actually, that's why I made this video. The reason why is because people are just waiting for you to fall, ladies and gentlemen. What does cocky mean? That's a good question. Somebody tell us. Somebody in the comments tell us what cocky means. Are we good on connection? Every once in a while, somebody's telling me we lost connection. Then when I say, are we good, people saying yes. So are we good on connection or are we not? Before I continue. We are good on connection. All right. I think people are trolling me, just telling me we're good on connection, so I had to ask the question. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. When you lose, the people who don't people who are not happy that you're winning, because when you're winning, you'll never have 100% approval rating. Like, you ever see the presidential races where they talk about the approval rating? Like, Barack Obama's approval rating went up after the State of the Union address, or Donald Trump's approval rating went down after he said something negative about Mexicans, or went up, whatever. Approval ratings. You will never have a 100% approval rating, no matter how good you are, no matter how positive you try to be, no matter how many people you help, no matter how much you win, and everybody's hands go up and they stay there. There will always be people who are negative about your success. He says, sorry, Dre, not all of us are native speakers. You don't understand my slang. Well, that's why you listen, so you can learn. This is how you're going to learn. You ain't going to learn it in a book. You ain't going to learn it in school. You're going to learn it by watching Dre All Day Periscopes. So somebody just said cocky is, so see, we got a couple different opinions on cocky. Somebody said cocky is what people call you when they can't be as confident as you. Another person said cocky means conceited or arrogant. What does conceited or arrogant mean? So we have some differing opinions here as to what cockiness and confidence is. Is there a line between cockiness and confidence? Said Cam got a check for that, had to. Yeah, Cam got a check for a lot of things. He got a check for a lot of things. So when people came out and said, well, he's cocky, that's why he lost the Super Bowl. Well, what about him being cocky, getting him a contract for $100 million? What about him being cocky, getting him his own deal with Under Armour? What about him being cocky, getting him the MVP of the NFL? I mean, wasn't he cocky when he did all those things? So why are people saying that him being cocky is the reason he lost the Super Bowl? But what about all the successes he got by being the exact same person? No humility, arrogance, cockiness are perceptions, not mentality. Exactly. I agree with that right there. Mercer just put it perfectly. Arrogance and cockiness are perceptions. They are not personal qualities of a person. Now, people saying that he choked. Well, not people. Nicole said Cam choked. And Dalton said there's no difference except whether you're winning or losing. You know what? I agree with that too. When you win, people are like, he's confident. And the people who really think you're cocky can't say nothing when you win because you won. Because they know if they try to be negative, everybody's going to call him a hater. But when you lose, all of a sudden, people come out of the woodwork like roaches come out when it gets dark. All of a sudden, everybody got something negative to say because they see that you're down. Now they feel like it's cool to jump on top and throw something on there. Says not the reason he lost, it was rigged. Now, I don't know if it was rigged. You got any proof of that? Choking and throwing the game are two different things. I don't think he choked or threw the game. I think they just lost. Said people are calling you cocky, that means they're hating on your confidence. In many ways, I believe that too. I believe that. I've talked about that. When people are calling you cocky, it's just because, listen, Donald Trump wouldn't call Cam Newton cocky. And Cam Newton wouldn't call Donald Trump cocky. Why? Because they both have such a high level of confidence that neither one would be bothered by the other. But in general, they are all perceptions, ladies and gentlemen. They're all, so you got to dive on that ball. Well, there are different ways to look at that. It happened in such a split second. It looked like the guy from Carolina was going to recover it, but he booted it the other way, and then somebody else jumped on it. Cocky is overconfidence. Confidence still allows for humility. Well, see, cockiness, confidence, and humility are all perceptions. Like, you could perceive that somebody's cocky or arrogant, but another person can look at that same person and say, well, you know what, you're not confident enough. So there's no black and white definition. So really, I just want to hear what everybody thinks. But I'm seeing it's kind of like a 50-50 split. I do have proof. Everyone that watched the game would have seen it. You have proof, then you need to publish that on YouTube or something. Get it out to NBC News or something. Make sure you put your Twitter name in there. You get yourself a lot of new followers. You can get yourself a lot of haters too. People mad at you to say it was fixed. So make sure you're ready for that. The Broncos fans won't be happy that you said it's fixed. People are mad because their life sucks. So they see somebody winning, so they say, oh, they're cocky. That's one way of looking at it also. That's also another way of looking at it. But the overall point that I want to share here before we get into the Q&A, because I do want to take some questions about anything. Better to have too much confidence and not enough confidence. More confidence, more success. I agree with that. You better off having a problem with too much confidence than a problem with not enough. And the bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to play the game, anything in life, any game you play, you must be ready for this. Be ready for the negativity that comes with losing. You're going to get a lot of negativity from when you lose because everybody who was mad that you won was just waiting for you to lose. And the more that you win, the more they load up. The more they get ready to dump on you when you lose. Because if you go 81-0 and you lose game number 82, everybody's ready to jump on your ass for that 82nd loss. Yeah, imagine if Floyd Mayweather had lost. Wow, that would have been, if Manny Pacquiao had beat Floyd Mayweather, people would still be talking about it today. All right, how long ago did that happen? People would still be talking about it if Manny had beat Floyd. And guess what? Everybody had to stay quiet Why? Because Floyd kept winning. If he had lost, the internet would have exploded because everybody was just waiting for a moment to say something negative. When LeBron James left Cleveland, he did the decision on TV, and then they lost in the finals. What happened? Everybody all of a sudden had something to say. The same things they could have said when he first left, nobody said nothing, but they waited till he lost in the finals, and all of a sudden everybody wagging their finger like, see, you can't be arrogant. You can't go on TV and do that. You can't think you can buy a championship. You can't think there's a shortcut to success. Everybody had all these great things to say, all these soapbox statements to say after he lost. But during this whole period between when he left and when he lost, you could have said these same things, but nobody said anything. Why? Because he was winning. And the more you win, the more people load up and get ready to dump on your ass when you lose. So that's the bottom line of what I want to share here. I do want to open the floor for questions. What's up, M513? I do want to open the floor for questions. I like doing a general Q&A. Did I see his post-game interview? I did see his post-game interview. I did see that. LeBron not looking too good in Cleveland. I can't agree with that. I think he's looking pretty good. I think he's still one of the best players in the world. His team's in first place. I mean, how do you think he's not looking good? Thoughts on that? Well, I mean, it's a tough situation. It's his first Super Bowl. He just lost. He knows everybody's going to be on his ass. I mean, he couldn't win. He couldn't lose. I mean, he couldn't win no matter what he did. The loose ball, he half-assed, clearly went after it. Well, yeah, a lot of people are saying that he half-assed, clearly didn't go after the football in the game. But the thing is, it's hard to sit there and say when you're watching the game on TV what the player in the game should have did. It's easy. Well, actually, it's easy to say. That's just what I should. It's easy to say what the player in the game should have did when all of us is watching from the couch. It looks easy. On TV, it looks very easy what he could have did. But I don't think in practice it is that as simple as it sounds. And also, and from my perspective, it looked like he thought, I'm not trying to defend him, but just looked like that he thought the guy was about to recover because the guy on defense he was already on the ground. And that's when Cam kind of hesitated. And then the ball bounced off the guy's shoulder pads and went the other way. But listen, they was going to lose anyway. I think there was pretty much a wrap anyway at that point. I don't think he should have walked off like that, but I understand him being upset. Yeah, I mean, hey, of course it would have been great if he would have stayed and answered all the dumb questions, which would have went on all night. People just kept asking him dumb stuff. He obviously didn't want to talk because they had just lost. But he'll be back. People will get over it. 2 weeks from now, people will stop talking about it. When the next season starts, people will forget about it. I have passion for tennis and basketball. Is it good to work on? I didn't see the end of that question. But I will take any questions. This is Dre all day talking to you. Do you feel like the best players are any teams that are ones who play with the most confidence? At the pro level, yes. At the pro level, yes. Now, at the amateur level, not always. But at the pro level, yes, that's true because everybody's good. Everybody's very, very good at the pro level. So you have to have confidence. Do I read often? Yes, I read every day, at least an hour every single day. Right now I'm reading, what am I reading? Yeah, Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. I'm reading that right now. So would I say Adrian Broner is so-called cocky? I think many people perceive him as cocky. Do I personally think he's cocky? No. I mean, he just is who he is. Is it good to work on different sports? I mean, how do you define good? What's your definition of good? And I can answer your question. People always ask me that. Is it good to do this? Is it bad to do that? Tell me your definition of good or bad, and I'll tell you whether or not it's good or bad. You read Think and Grow Rich? That's a great book. Do I follow Ty Lopez? I don't follow him. I know who he is, but I don't follow him. I don't really follow anybody. Social media-wise, I don't really follow nobody. I use social media to catch up on the news, know what's going on, but I don't really follow any one person. I don't watch anybody's YouTube videos whenever they put stuff out. I don't do none of that. I listen to podcast episodes that are about business and personal development stuff. I listen to personal development, like recorded stuff, like old guys that are dead, like Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill, somebody that's alive, like Tony Robbins, and I read. Other than that, I'm working. I don't really follow no social media stuff. I use social media to know what's going on and to interact with my base of fans. That's what I use social media for. My opinion on reading the paper like Wall Street Journal for Biz. I think the Wall Street Journal is useful if you're going to be working on Wall Street. I mean, if that's the publication for your industry, you should know what's going on in your industry. It keeps you informed of what's going on. What's my definition of good? I don't have a definition of good. What other podcasts do I recommend? I can give you a bunch of podcasts. That's a good question. I happen to have my iPad here. I'll give you some podcasts that I listen to. Right now, the one is I binge watch podcasts. And when I find a podcast that I like, would I rather perfect one skill in life or drive my energy into multiple things? I would say both. You can perfect one skill, but also be a generalist, as we like to say, or a jack of all trades that people like to say. Because in today's world, you can have multiple skills. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need more than one skill. You can't be an entrepreneur with one skill, because you're going to need a bunch of people that can do other things that you can't do. So, like Dre Baldwin in a fight versus a bear. I don't know, how big is the bear? All right, so the podcasts that I listen to, I'll give you a few. There's some that I've been on, so I'm not going to mention the ones that I've been on. But if you go to dreallday.com/my about section, you'll see a page where I got every podcast I've been on. And I have my own podcast, if y'all didn't know. Y'all go to the Athlete on Fire podcast. Just look up Dre All Day episodes. You'll see me or hear it. All right, I listen to the Tim Ferriss Show. Is a great podcast that I like. James Altucher Show I like. Cardone Zone is good. Question of the Day by Altucher and Stephen Dubner I like. The Bill Simmons podcast, that's like one that's not business. I just listen to that because I like Bill Simmons. EO Fire with JLD, John Lee Dumas I like. This Is Your Life by Michael Hyatt. He talks about a lot of basic stuff, but he explains it very well. So I like Michael Hyatt's podcast. I just grabbed this Grit and Hustle. I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't know how good it is. Knowledge for Men, I was on their show like 2 weeks ago. Generations, I was on their show, my guy Edwin, like 3-4 weeks ago. So those are the podcasts I listen to. And I listen to Ask Gary V, Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm listening to that right now. So when I find a new podcast that I like, it usually has like 100 or so episodes that already happened before I got to it. So I'll listen to all 100 just to catch up. And then I'll go to a different one. I'll just listen to one specific podcast like every day for a week till I catch up to where they're at. And then I go to a new one. So those are the ones I'll listen to. Ask Gary V is the one I'm listening to now. As soon as I get done with Ask Gary V, then I'm going to go catch up on... I will catch up on the James Altucher Show is the next one that I got to catch up on. His are a little bit longer. Gary V's are short. They're like somewhere between 5 and 20 minutes at the most. EO Fire, about 30 minutes. James Altucher is about an hour. Tim Ferriss is like an hour and a half. How many different states have I lived in? I've only lived in 2 states, but I've been to damn near all 50. Pennsylvania and Florida. Biggest challenge in basketball. Ask me something more specific. Be more specific with that question. If anybody else got any questions, I'll take a question before we wrap up. I got like 2 minutes. I'll take like 2 more questions, then we're going to wrap up. Have I ever been to Louisiana? Yes, I have. I just said I've been to like all 50 states. The only state I ain't been to Hawaii or Alaska. I haven't been to the state of Washington. I've been to almost every other state. Any more questions we're going to take? This is Dre Baldwin, Dre All Day. You listen to, I'm author of 5 books. For those of you who don't know, if you go to dreallday.com/Amazon, you got that. You like that chess video? That's what's up. Share that video with somebody and share it on Twitter, and I'll retweet you. You can do that. Differences of NBA versus overseas. Well, I didn't play in the NBA, so I can't really tell you. I can tell you overseas from my personal experience, but I didn't play NBA. But as far as watching, from playing overseas and watching the NBA, difference is it's completely different playing styles. They got a different set of rules, you know what I mean? How about them Broncos? Hey, they won the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Broncos. Do I feel they antagonize Cam? Well, you're going to get antagonized when you lose, especially with social media now, because everybody's a news reporter. Everybody can be a reporter now. So if you lose, if the Broncos had lost, people would have been antagonizing Peyton Manning. Probably not as much, but that he would have been getting antagonized too. Tom Brady. Anybody who loses is going to get antagonized just because of the fact that it's so easy to do it now. Everybody has an opportunity to blast what their opinions out to the world. That's what social media does. So it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. He's young. He doesn't have that professional maturity yet. I wouldn't say that. Professional maturity. I mean, the guy just won the MVP of the league. So to say he doesn't have professional maturity. And where are you defining that against? What are you defining it against? I mean, his team had like the best record in the whole league. How do you assume the positive and negative comments when I didn't catch that whole comment? Say that one more time. He didn't handle his loss well. Well, that's one way of looking at it. I see how you could feel that way. I see that many people felt that way, that he didn't handle the loss well. I don't feel that he handled it badly. I mean, he just lost. What is he supposed to do? How would you approach a father that's a Scrooge type dude? Whose father is it? How can you? How can you what? I can see that some people say he's not professional, but guess what? If he had won the Super Bowl, nobody would be saying that. That's the thing. He was snobby and short and walked off Well, I mean, if you had just lost the Super Bowl and everybody in the world was pointing their finger at you, ask yourself how you would have handled that situation. Everybody says they would do a certain thing, but until you're in the situation, it's a completely different thing. Again, when we're sitting on our couches, it's easy to say what somebody else should have did when they got 1 million people watching them. But when there's 1 million people watching you, it's a whole different situation. And most people will never know what that feels like. That's why I said he's young. I mean, he's 26 years old. I mean, he ain't that young. He's not a child. Again, if he had won the Super Bowl, all the people saying that Cam didn't do this or didn't do that and this was wrong and he could have been better, he could have been more professional, none of them would be saying these things if he had won the game. But now that he lost, now everybody feels like it's okay to say negative things about him. How do you handle positive and negative comments? What do I say to myself? I don't have to handle them. I just let them go. I don't have to handle them in any way. I don't have to say anything to myself. I just let them go. A negative comment from another person is saying more about the person who said it than the person they're saying it about. It's saying nothing about who they're talking about. It's saying more about the person who's actually letting the comment come out of their mouth. So I think squatting is effective for basketball and athleticism. What's your definition of effective? And effective starts with an E, not an A, and the way that you're using it. What does WOYG stand for? Can somebody help this person out? Can somebody help Jamal Soul out what does WOYG stand for? With your success, have you had good friends hate on you? And not that I know of, not openly. Maybe I do, not to my face at least. Let's put it like that. Not to my face. One of Patience, I didn't see your last comment. I saw you left something, but I didn't see that comment. So if you could repost that, I'll take it. Naturally do, what does that mean? What if you get upset? Do comments affect you in any way? What if I get upset? And I would never get upset by a comment on the internet. You can't get upset about comments on the internet if you're going to be on the internet, publicizing yourself. If comments upset you, then the internet's not the place for you. Because the internet is a place where anybody can say anything that they want, and they don't have to be held accountable for it. So if somebody's saying something negative on the internet bothers you, then doing this right here is not for you. Posting on Instagram, tweeting, YouTubing, none of that stuff is for you. Being in the public eye is not for you if you have a problem with somebody saying something negative about you. I was just helping out with the meeting. Oh, I appreciate that. Good afternoon, God bless. Okay, I never heard nobody use that. So now we shortening that. We got to shorten that to an acronym, GAGB. All right, GAGB to you too. Favorite weekly motivation, all of them. All 300 that I got. What if you're not on the internet? Same thing. If somebody says something negative about you, you don't have to respond to it. I got a video about that. It's called, if you search my name, Dre Baldwin, you put in the phrase trash talk, you'll see that video. If somebody says something negative to you, there is no requirement that you have to do or say or think anything or feel anything. You don't have to respond to anything somebody else says. If you walk by and somebody says you're a bum, you're the worst basketball player I've ever seen in my life, there is no rule that says you have to say something back. Yes, trash talk. But it basically applies to anything. I use the phrase trash talk because it's for basketball players, but you could use it for anything. Business doesn't even matter. Backhanded comments are the worst. Well, they're just comments. They're just comments. A positive comment, a negative comment. If either one of them changes how you feel in the moment, then you just need to get your emotions in check for any person. I appreciate the positive comments. I don't mind the negative comments. Again, you can't let yourself be susceptible to that if you're going to be out there in the public eye in any way. What if they offend you in front of a lot of people? Being offended is a choice. It's not an event. Being offended is not an event. If somebody calls you a bitch, you don't have to be offended. You don't have to be. You can choose to be, but you don't have to be. That is taking offense to something is an emotion. Same way being embarrassed is an emotion. Like you could get dunked on in a basketball game and be embarrassed. You could also get dunked on and not care. I feel like that's what the media did to Cam. They embarrassed him in public. No, nobody embarrassed Cam Newton. The only way Cam Newton can be embarrassed is for him to choose to be embarrassed. If somebody says something about him, that doesn't mean he's embarrassed. Being embarrassed is a choice. It is a choice. It is not an event, ladies and gentlemen. Getting dunked on does not make you embarrassed. Like if somebody dunked on me and I fell and everybody in the audience was laughing, 30,000 people was pointing at me and laughing, I could choose to be embarrassed or I could choose to just let it go. Just because somebody said I'm embarrassed doesn't mean that I am. It's a choice that I make personally. So nobody can say that Cam Newton's embarrassed. The only person that can choose for Cam Newton to be embarrassed is Cam Newton. Doesn't matter what anybody in the media says, how many followers they got, how many newspaper articles they write. You saying something that somebody else feels is not true unless they agree with it. Is not a what? Event. E-V-E-N-T, like an event. Like, go to this event, go to this show. They treated him like a thug or a moral person with the line of questions they asked. Okay, I can see how you see that, but I don't see it that way. Treated him like a thug? No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody, I think there are people who think that unconsciously. I don't think anybody would actually say that. Nobody's going to come out and call him a thug because he didn't actually do anything. He ain't been arrested. He ain't go to jail. But I understand how some people may think that unconsciously, yes. Sometimes you have to feel offended about something, Dre, right? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. They attack black athletes to be real. Who's they? Are you DJ Khaled? They? Don't know who shared this. Glad they did. Well, exactly. See, that's why we need more people sharing. Can everybody share this feed? If y'all keep coming with the questions, we'll keep this going. I was going to wrap this up at exactly 4:05. We already 6 minutes past the time. But if y'all gonna keep coming with good questions, we can keep this conversation going. As long as y'all tap the screen. If the heart stopped, then I know it's a wrap. That's when I know it's over, when the heart stopped. I don't know anything about the Black Panther dancers. I don't even know what that is, so I can't share any thoughts. I have no idea what you're talking about. So whoever shared this stream that led whoever that was that said, oh, Beyonce's dancers. No, I don't really have any thoughts on it. I mean, it was a nice halftime show. I don't really have any thoughts. I'm not a music critic. When did you notice a significant increase in your skill in your career? Which career are you talking about? Basketball career? Thank you, Rodarte Charlie. I appreciate you sharing. Basketball, a significant change. It didn't happen in one moment. It was gradually, because I was always working on my game. From the age of 14, all I did was work on my game every single day as much as I could. So gradually, other people would notice a change, a significant change, because they didn't see all the work. But if you're the one doing the work every day, you don't notice the change. It's like you don't notice yourself growing taller, but somebody else might notice. I appreciate you taking the questions. I always miss your comments. Whoever that was that left that comment, I saw you said you appreciate it, so I appreciate you too. I appreciate you for being here and sharing this stream. So whoever shared the stream and brought new people in, I appreciate y'all for doing that. Mike said, that's how I feel right now. Everyone is saying my handle is tighter and better. Exactly. Because you've been doing the work. So it didn't happen in one day. You did the work, but nobody else was doing the work. So now they see that it happened quick. How do you improve yourself daily? Well, there's a lot of things you could do to improve yourself daily. What you trying to improve in? Tell me specifically something you're trying to improve in. I'll tell you 3 things you could do to improve yourself right now. Tell me what it is. I want to play ball professionally, but I also love tennis. Can I mix between the two? Professionally, probably not, because the schedules probably won't match. But in high school and college, maybe you could do both. First timer on my scope, who am I? That's a great question. Who am I? Or is there really no time? Well, there's always time. I mean, time is 24 hours in a day. That's not changing. You won't have more or less. But my name is Dre Baldwin, for that person who asked. Many know me as Dre all day. From Philadelphia, live in South Florida, background professional athlete, played ball overseas 9 years. Now I'm an entrepreneur, professional speaker. I'm a salesperson, author of 7 books, publisher of 4,000 YouTube videos, 4,000 blog posts, probably 400 Periscope streams, maybe 300 Periscope streams. And my aim is to empower people. So what I do is try to empower people with knowledge, skills, expertise, not only on business, branding, marketing, and basketball, but also the mental game. Because the mental game is the secret sauce to everything. It's kind of like, you ever make a recipe, and you ever do a recipe and it says add a dash of salt? And it always says that. Any recipe I ever did, it says put in a dash of salt. I'm like, why do you always say put in a dash of salt? That dash of salt is the mental game for everything that you do in life. Because you can have the great instructions and do everything that somebody tells you to do. But if you don't have the right mindset, the right confidence, the right belief, the right goals, the right ambitions, and you don't have them all aligned with the things that you want to achieve in life with your actions, then you're not going to get the right results. So that's what I do. In a nutshell, that's what I do. If I had to sum it up in one sentence, I'm a salesperson. I sell things. I sell ideas. I sell confidence. I sell books. I sell training programs. I sell consulting. I sell coaching. I sell speaking engagements. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Romancho, I appreciate that. I've been watching your videos since middle school. I'm in college. Crazy to see you still grind. Oh, that's what's up. See, there's a success story right there. G.C. Jower. Been watching me since middle school, and now he's in college. That's what's up. Curry or Kyrie's handles? Well, I got to go with the one that leads to me winning the game, which I guess would be Curry since he's winning more right now. 3 steps to increase confidence. 3 steps. Number 1, buy the book called The Super You by Dre Baldwin. Number 2, you're going to wait for Dre Baldwin's TED Talk on the topic of confidence to come out, which will be in the next month or 2. And number 3, you're going to write down a complete detailed description of the type of person you wish to be when you have the level of confidence that you want to have. Describe that in words, in detail. Write it down and read it out loud to yourself every single day. Every day for the next 60 days, I guarantee your confidence will increase. All right, like Mike Young, I appreciate you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to wrap this one up. If you're watching me for the first time, make sure you follow me. I think I delivered enough value in the last hour, as long as we've been on here, to let y'all know that I am worthy of a follow. So make sure y'all follow me. Hit me on Instagram and also Snapchat at Dre Baldwin. My Twitter and Periscope is at Dre All Day. Any of you got any questions that you want to ask me directly, you can snap it to me, or if you're on a more formal side, email me, dre@dreallday.com. And oh yeah, buy one of my books. Go to that link that's in my bio, dreallday.com/Amazon. You buy a physical or a digital copy, send me a picture of it. I'll post it on my IG. Work on your game, dreallday.com. Make sure you get my first book, Buy a Game. It is free. Click the link right here below in the video description. I'm on all your favorite social media platforms, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. All the links are right down here below. Is either Dre Baldwin or Dre All Day on each one of those sites. And make sure you are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button down there and the thumbs up like button. Subscribe so you catch all the new content. I work on your game. Dre All Day.